And my question to you guys is, what should we be communicating to our staff and employees right now, and how often should we be doing so? Ruby, I'll start with you, then Keiran, I'll ask you the same question.
Well, I can only speak for my group here. I mean, I have to applaud what we're doing right now. I mean, over the course of 60 days, we meet every day over a Teams meeting. We have a 10 o'clock huddle with all the senior management across the enterprise with the director of operations, and we go over our business strategy daily. We call out the activities that each store perform, not so much of the result, but the activities we need to do to attain the result. And for my particular store, I meet with my team. We have a check-in meeting and a checkout meeting. Again, also meet virtually via Teams. And all we're talking about is what's changing every day and what we need to continue to focus on as a current strategy. And I think the best way, through this difficult time, it's important to see that even in countries, right, you will see what's a good leadership and what's a leadership that's lacking out there, right? And quite frankly, I think being in a leadership position for my own particular store, it's that communication piece is vital. You have to know the pulse of the dealership as well as the pulse of the emotions of the employees and the staff, because these are the people you work with. And if they have no directions, everybody become lost doing their own thing. And we can't do that. We have to move in all in the same pace, at the same time. So I would say minimum daily, twice a day, if not 3 times a day. And it doesn't have to be a long drawn out meeting. It could be just a quick meeting, but hey, you want to check in with your people every day. And I think that piece it's good you asked that. And I just wanted to circle back to Keiran earlier about the whole service component. I agree with you that will actually change. For our business strategy right now, we're looking into a single point contact with our brand ambassador, whom is essentially AKA as salespeople. They will be the one that's handling actually the service customer. That retention piece is very important and very imperative. We wanted to be able to not just sell them a car, but how we're going to look after them after they purchase a car from us. And they will handle the interaction from cradle to grave, including the whole service piece. So they will be the main point of contact on servicing the car. All they got to say is just call me. I'll book your service appointment. You don't have to call service. I'll look after everything. And we wanted to see our customer at least twice a year, right, to keep that retention up. And kiosk or no kiosk, one of the things that I think is interesting is that you go to Disney or you go to any amusement park now, and people tend to use apps to buy tickets for a faster lineup. So if like Jason said, it doesn't matter if it's a kiosk or an app. If we can nail the strategy and the communication piece with our customer, then you are going to be a way better performer than the other stores that haven't nailed that part. So I think that is something really good, food for thought for everyone in the industry as well.
You know what? I'm with you. I think daily conversation with our team helps keep morale, and it really ensures that our staff knows the direction that we're heading in. And as leaders of any type of ship or business, everyone needs to be communicated the direction that we're heading, and it makes everyone feel more comfortable, more confident. And I find that flows into their communication efforts with the customers. Ruby, I love the fact that you guys are communicating daily. That's absolutely awesome. And man, talk about daring. I love what you're doing, as far as service advisor, salesperson, F&I manager. I'm going to stick them together in a blender, and I'm going to come out with this beautiful smoothie that everyone's going to enjoy. But no, I'm with you. Look, as a customer, the industry may disagree with this in a pretty huge way on this one, right? But I actually think as a customer, I love the idea of the person that I spend $40, $50, $60, $70,000 with is the person that when, a light pops up on my dashboard, I call, him or her and say, I got an issue. My car is doing this. Can you schedule me an appointment? Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Harris. Not a problem. We can do that. Like, I like that. It's like, right now I feel like when I do buy a car, I'm getting tossed from one department to another. And sometimes like physically tossed. Like, oh, hey, by the way, let me put you in the F&I box. God, what the fuck do we call it a box for? But anyways, like, and then like, on my way to the delivery of the car, oh yeah, just so you know, over there is the service department. Yeah, they'll take care of you from now on. I'm done. Like, I'm out. Mic drop. But like I love that idea of combining that together. I think it's going to be really cool. Hey, Keiran, for you, what should service managers? And I'm going to ask you to put your coach and training hat on for this one. It's like pretend you're in a room with a bunch of service managers and you're telling them like, hey, this is what you need to be communicating with your team. I'm curious what you would say.
Interesting. So, no, you're okay. I'm always putting the spot. It's all good. Ruby, just kudos to you guys on what you guys are discussing in terms of the innovations that you guys are thinking about implementing or have already implemented in terms of how the process happens from start to finish. And I really, really like that. And I hope that the industry starts to adapt sooner rather than later to those ideas. So yeah, kudos to you for that. In terms of leadership, like without leadership, there's no direction, like you said, Ruby. And if we don't know where we're going, we're never going to get there. As I was reading something last night about the future. That you can't even think about the future. Again, 60 days ago, we're all, oh yeah, the future, yeah, we're going to do this next month. That's our forecast for the future, blah, blah, blah. We can't even think about the future now because our present is so unstable. So in my opinion, leaders right now, so the managers of each department out there who are speaking to their staff on a daily basis, as you said, Ruby, and I totally agree with that, even twice daily. Again, everything is so fluid right now that we need to have our fingers on the pulse, knowing what the news is, knowing what the accurate news is, accurate news, and knowing what the risks are, knowing whether or not to be wearing face shields, as you said yourself, Ruby, whether or not, what the social distancing measures are, whether we should be having temperature checks at the door, etc., for staff as well, because it's not just about protecting the customer, it's about protecting our staff as well, not just from the customer, but from each other as well. So having those conversations, laying out expectations for the staff, and as one service advisor told me recently, his approach to his customers is, I'm going to do everything in my power so that you do not catch COVID-19 from me. I don't have it, but if I had it, I would not pass it on to you. That's the care I'm going to take. I'm going to give you today and your vehicle. And I thought that was a nice touch. A little bit weird, but again, is it the right approach? Who knows what the right approach is right now? But communication is crucial from a top-down perspective, but also having the ability to have a bottom-up approach as well, where you are getting insight from how your staff are feeling. And again, we talk about emotional intelligence quite a lot in some of the courses I run and some of the conversations I have with some of my mentors and some of the people I hang out with. Sounds a little bit boring, but it's it's so important. We're even covering it in some of my kids' prep stuff. So it's some of my prep, some of the stuff that's coming up from school is some of the EQ stuff. So it's fascinating that's happening at such a young age. Yeah, no, having your finger on the pulse of how your staff are feeling is crucial, and you can only do that by communicating with them with a 1.5 or 2 meter distance, whatever the social measures are in your state or country. Not to take that lightly, but it's important to have those meetings with them via Zoom, via FaceTime on your phone. We've never had such a good opportunity to have these conversations via technology, and utilizing them is crucial, and prioritizing your staff is very, very important.